Hi everyone, we're back to talk more about living life with chronic pain. In my first video, I kind of gave you a timeline when my diseases started, and we're going to go back to that 2002 to kind of 2005 range um, and talk about the fibromyalgia and when I was first diagnosed. We'll see how long this goes. I don't want to make the videos too long, so I may make it into separate parts, but we'll see. So 2002, 2005, even beyond 2002, that's when I was having back pain. It wasn't anything disabling, but it was there. Um, in addition with the pressure points, um, my symptoms with fibro around that time, 2002, 2005, were, for the most part, the back pain, pressure points, every one of them, severe fatigue, musculoskeletal pain, sleep problems, and headaches. So those were like my main symptoms that I dealt with during this time. Now, I had a primary care physician that I had had my whole life, that I had as a child. He was in the process of, working me up and trying to figure out what was going on. This time, I had lost my insurance, or my insurance changed, one or the other. So I had to find a new primary care doc. And it was actually this new primary care doc who actually diagnosed me with fibromyalgia, which I am thankful for him. I'm thankful for him, giving me an answer. Ended up being I wasn't with him too long. I was able to get back into my childhood, lifelong primary care doctor, whom was an amazing doctor, an amazing guy. He was a one-man show. He was by himself. He practiced by himself. He was very unorthodox, out of the box thinking, intelligent, extremely intelligent. Of course, anytime you're dealing with insurance, stuff like that, with certain diseases, there's going to be certain meds that, you're going to be required by the insurance to try before you can move on to, the next steps, what have you. Some of the meds that I, off the top of my head, was on during that time were Lyrica, Cymbalta, Savella, amitriptyline, sertraline, in addition to what I am going to call, let's see here, opies, strong opies, and I think most of you will understand where I'm at there. So at the time, those were the meds that I, throughout that time period, had trialed. Every single one were horrid. I don't know if it's just me and the fact that most of them are SSRIs and I just didn't do well with them. The main side effects with each, it varied a little bit. Some of them were absolutely horrid. Some were produced not good thoughts in your head. Some increased anxiety, increased agitation was a big one. And let me think what other side effects there were. Tiredness, fatigue. just, if you're familiar with any of them, I think you'll understand where I'm coming from. So none of them were good. None of them. But again, insurance required, to go through each steps in order to move on. And after, I don't know the exact date, but it was several years of trialing these different medications. I got to the point where I refused them. I got off every single one of them. It was not helping the fibromyalgia. It was not helping my pain. And it certainly wasn't helping my life, my kids' life. So I stopped. I refused to take anything along the lines of those meds. And to this day, I haven't and never will again. Now, if you are taking them and they are working for you, that is great. I'm not telling you that they are not good, that they do not work for some people, or, but they did not work for me. In addition to the strong opiates at the time, I couldn't handle it. Like, I had to be on, the pain was bad that I needed something, but the ones that I was on, like, I couldn't function. And, I worked full time. I was going to school. I was a mom. And, you have to be able to function. I'm not one that, I don't like feeling the effects of those strong ones. I just don't like the way they make you feel. I am a person that needs to be in control, and they make you feel like you don't have any control of what's going on. So in addition to those other meds we talked about, Lyrica, Cymbalta, Savella, I stopped, along with those, the strong opiates. Somewhere around there, and it was after trialing those meds, my doctor came up with a study and started treating me with doxycycline. Odd, yes, but the weird part is it did have an effect on the fibro. It did help with pain to an extent, nothing major, but a difference. So I ended up being on that for many, many years. So it got to the point where it just didn't work anymore. The way, along with, as my other diseases progressed throughout time up until now, fibromyalgia isn't my major pain factor. The biggest way fibromyalgia affects me now is neurologically. And after so many years of dealing with it, you're kind of able to separate what's what. So when I say neurologically, it affects my memory. Being in the middle of a conversation and just completely lose train of thought. Can't think of something from the past. Can't think of what I was going to say. So loss for words, memory, past, current. Sensitivity is a big one. My skin is very sensitive. And this may sound weird, but I've noticed, throughout the years, people, you're crazy, because I'd be sitting outside, and even the tiniest little bugs, I could feel them on my skin. And, of course, everyone around must be like, there's nothing there, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I'm telling you. Um, so I did learn that, in a there was a major skin sensitivity for me. Even clothes, I can't wear anything tight. I can't wear anything itchy. Um, and then, of course, light and noise became big factors for me. The light, bright lights bother me. Loud noise bothers me. Um, I want to say, like concerts, that's something very hard for me to do. I couldn't do it now, just because it is so loud. Even people, that are right next to me, near me, that are talking very loud, it's very hard. So this video is getting long. I think I'm going to stop it here, and when I come back, we're going to talk a little more and go a little more in depth to fatigue and exactly what fatigue is and how it feels. So I will see you soon. Please give a like and share if you can connect with any of my content. You're not alone. Let other people know that they are not alone. I will see you soon.